What's up everyone? Welcome to another episode. Today I want to talk to you about all the tools and gadgets that are traveling with me whenever I go somewhere with my bike. So if it is spending a week in Mallorca for a cycling vacation, or if I'm going to see my girlfriend or my parents and I'm planning to spend some time on the bike there are some items that I always carry with me which have to do with maintenance. There are also some on the bike items as well that I always carry with me, and I quickly want to talk you through these. First of all, we're going to start with the bike maintenance parts, because often when you're traveling with the bike, there are some bolts that you got to untighten. You might have to remove your seat post, you might have to remove your handlebars, loosen some bolts here and there to make your bike a little bit more compact, and then you'll have to reassemble it whenever you arrive at the desired location. So here, first of all, as most bolts on the bike are hex bolts, it is very important, I gotta say, to have a good set of hex keys. And I tried already a bunch of other hex key sets, some that came with the bikes, also some hex keys that I had floating around from like building up IKEA shelves. But then with some of those hex keys, I also managed to round off, whatever it's called, a couple of bolts, so which is ending you in a situation which is not always great. So here I invested in a couple of proper hex keys from a company called Wera. So these are ones that I can highly recommend. This is a nice set that goes from 1.5 to 10 millimeters. And the tolerances here are so fine that even if you have like a little bit of dirt potentially in your bolts, that sometimes they don't really properly fit in there. So it is important to have a nice clean bolt head as well. But that really reduces the risk of wearing out or rounding out any of your bolts. Also, the upside here with these is they're double-sided, so you have one regular side and then one with this kind of like ball head kind of end, which allows you to go into your bolt at a little bit of an angle, also without risking that you are going to be rounding it off. So I would say this is maybe the most important tool set that I own and that I always carry with me. So big fan and big recommendation on that. And then staying with bolts and also staying with Wera. So that's another set from this company, because I had a very good experience with this set. So this is another one which now has a torque wrench in it. So it is quite a compact form factor, and you have like this little torque wrench tool here where you can switch between 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Newton meters, and then also lock it if you want to use it just as a regular tool. And then it also comes with the most widely used 6 bits that most of the time you need to, for example, fix your handlebars or fix your saddle. So if you're riding a bike that has some carbon components on it, I can really not stress out enough how much value it has to travel with at least a small torque wrench like this one, because you don't want to over tighten those bolts, because that can get really expensive if you break some of your carbon components. And then also, especially with things like your seat post, it's not great if you're out on a multiple hour ride and then every half an hour or every hour you have to stop to basically pull out your seat post again, because it keeps on slipping down, because you're worried of over tightening your bolt because you don't have had a torque wrench with you when you've been assembling your bike before the ride. So also, again, another set from Wera. There are of course also lots of other options, but the point here is have a small portable torque wrench that you can easily travel with. Sticking with tools, you might have seen in my dedicated video of what I'm carrying with me in my saddlebag. I'm going to link this video somewhere up here, because I'm not going to be doubling down on whatever is in here. But there was one very interesting tool in here from a company called Daysaver. So a very small, very compact multi-tool, which was designed in a very smart way. And after doing this video, I had a conversation with the guys at Daysaver, and then I noticed that they have a bunch of new tools which didn't exist when I purchased mine. So they've been so kind to send over 2 new ones, which I'm currently testing, which is why they're also traveling with me at the time. This one is very similar when it comes to functionality to the one that I'm carrying with me in my saddlebag. It is again a very smartly thought through multi-tool where you have a lot of different bits, which most of the time are two-sided, so you have one bit on one side and another size on the other side. They're also magnetically nicely locking in here. You have this kind of like angled option here that allows you to have a little bit of more torque. You can also just close this and hide this back into the tool as well. You have a more pointy one if you have a bolt that you quickly need to unscrew, while this one, the angled one, is more for tightening screws and untightening screws, I gotta say. And then also you have more bits hidden in here magnetically in those magnetic compartments within the tool, which you can basically just remove from here and then replace them wherever you need them within the tool. So very, very interesting, very nice and compact and well thought through. And then there is another one which is particularly interesting now as summer is slowly coming to an end, and I'm going to be getting the gravel bike out, and the gravel bike is the only one that I'm riding tubeless. But so far I don't have anything to fix a puncture potentially in my tubeless tire that the sealant wouldn't cover. So here in this also very compact tool, you also have a little blade in here, and then also this little part that helps you to put in what I call bacon strips, I think. I don't know if that's an official name, but these are the things that you basically push into your puncture in your tubeless tire. So all of this is nicely and stored away in this little multi-tool here. Additionally, you also have a chain breaker in here, which you lock in like this. The chain breaker part is in here. And then when you take out this tool on its own, this one also has a part here which you can use to adjust your spoke tension as well on the go. And then up here you can also put in a quick link for your chain as well. So you see again a nice and very compact tool, well thought through from Daysaver. And the nice difference with these designs now here is depending on what kind of bike you're riding, is that you can store them also in your bar ends, for example. So if you're riding a mountain bike or something that has a straight handlebar, there are options to mount these things also in your handlebars. So also very, very smart, carrying those with me now as I'm testing them. But so far, yeah, like with the previous tool from Daysaver, very impressed in how they are designed. Then when it comes to maintenance out on the bike, when you're going somewhere for a week and you are running a waxed chain, and so far all of my bikes are by now switched to be completely waxed, you also need to top up some wax here and there. Most of the time I do this every 250, 300 kilometers. So I'm using the bike wax from Optimize. So I've partnered with them long time ago already. It is a company that is based in Germany. So there is like also a little bit of an emotional connection, seeing how they started and where they are now. So I'm a big fan. I think I already went through 3 of those bottles by now. And now, for example, for my Mallorca trip, they also provided me with this small travel bottle, which is a nice 15mm bottle, so that I don't have to travel with a 100mm bottle of liquid wax, which would be way too much for 8 or 9 days in Mallorca. So you basically just fill this over into this tiny 15mm bottle and yeah, have this with you. You could even have it in your saddlebag if you're that kind of person that is not doing that on the day ahead, even though I think it is recommended to do to liquid wax, top up your wax on your chain around 24 hours before a ride. So yeah, wax also goes with me everywhere where I travel. And then let's talk about some tech that is on the bike, starting with maybe the most essential one, and it is the bike computer. I'm riding the Wahoo Elemnt Bolt 2. Currently, I haven't upgraded to the version 3 because so far the number 2 really works well for me. I'm very happy with it, and I'm kind of like hesitant to spend major cash on an upgrade. I was also riding a bunch of other bike computers before. I think I had their Rome version 1 before. I also had the Hammerhead Karoo 2 at some point. I didn't really like the battery life on that one, even though interaction was great. But here, I like that it is very light. I like that the battery lasts pretty much forever. Even if I don't charge it after 2 or 3 rides, there's always still enough battery left for just another ride. So that is great. As I said, it is very light, and I also like that it is not a touchscreen interface. Every function is available and accessible through those 3 buttons that you have here on the bottom, or those 2 ones here on the side, or there is one more menu / on/off button here on the opposite side. So very big fan of the Elemnt 2. So whoever is looking for a bike computer, that's one that I can highly recommend. And then when it comes to the front end of the bike, I'm not a big fan personally of having bike lights sitting in the front because I always feel that they kind of like mess with the look of a bike. And I know that this is something that shouldn't really matter that much, but somehow I think for a lot of us, it actually matters how your bike looks like. This is why already a while ago from Ravemen, I got this FR500 bike light. It has a nice flashing pattern. It also has a nice constant light as well. And the cool thing here is that it mounts between your up front mount and your bike computer. So it is nothing that you additionally need to strap on top of your handlebars or whatever. It just nicely integrates there. But they now just came out with a new version, which is the FR500. So while this light was more of a to be seen light, I feel that this FR500 is more of a to be seen, but then also see light. You see that it is quite bright because it has those two beams up here in the front, while even when I hold it to you like this from the side, you also clearly see it. It also has various modes, but also for me, this most important one is this flashing mode because I feel that it draws most attention to you. And here again, it's the same logic that you also mount your bike computer on top of this and basically just have this sitting on top of your up front mount. You have various adapters, so Garmin or Wahoo, of course, all of those fit as well. And now the big other difference in comparison to the previous model is that this one can also act as a power bank. So if you're ever in the situation where your phone is running out of battery, your bike computer for whatever reason is running out of battery, or any other light or any other device is running out of battery, you basically just connect a USB-C cable to this charging port here and then to the device that you want to charge, and it acts as a power bank. So I think it is always nice to have a little bit of extra energy with you, especially when it's not an additional device that you need to carry with you. So big fan now of this FR500 upgrade. So yeah, I already love the first one. Now the next one is just yeah, a cherry on top. And then this rear light, which is maybe the biggest upgrade that I've done to my road bikes, and when it comes to ride quality and peace of mind, it is this Wera RTL 515 radar light. So of course it is a nice and a bright light for your rear. It also has a nice flashing pattern, there we go, which makes you very visible from the far. But the biggest advantage here, of course, is this radar side of things, and this one allows you to actually detect if there are cars approaching you from behind. So when you're using this together with your bike computer, or you can also use this if you don't have a bike computer, use this with your phone and the app, and it shows you on a little sidebar if there's somebody approaching you from behind. It shows you a little car icon that is getting closer to you, so you also get an idea of how close this car is. You also have two different modes when it comes to speed detection, so you see if a car is approaching you at regular speed or if somebody's really like hammering down towards you. Then this little icon gets a red background. I think this one really gives me most peace of mind when I'm riding, especially when you're out in a group, or even just like, especially when you're in a small group with just two people where you want to be riding side by side most of the time to just keep a chat going. You don't have to constantly look back, seeing if there is a car approaching you or not. This one lets you know already way ahead of time if there is a car approaching, and then you can take a decision based on the situation where you're in on the street, if you want to maybe switch in the pace line or stay side by side. So seems like a small thing having a rear light, but I would say one of the biggest upgrades that I've ever done to my bike. So these are all the items that are traveling with me wherever I go with my bike. If there's anything major that you feel I missed that you are potentially traveling with, please let me know down in the comments below. I'd be very interested to learn about that. And if you enjoyed this little episode, please consider hitting that like button. Also consider subscribing if you're not a subscriber yet. And yeah, as always, I'll say thanks a lot for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.